episode of You First. It's all about you, and you. I'm your host, Shawana Kennedy. That's right. And this is the place where you get to pull up and say, it's all about me. It's all about self first. It's all about you, and you. We're all things self care, mental well being, personal development, and empowerment, empowering you to make yourself a priority. I had to learn the hard way of what that really means. Being shaken and wakened to where it wound me up in the hospital. And then while looking, it didn't matter about my husband. It didn't matter about my children. It had to become about me, remembering that God has created me as a gift. And I had to treat myself as such by making me and my well-being a priority in my life. So that is part of the mission here with You First. And that's what I get to do with you. Today, I have an amazing guest with me. She is waiting in the wings. Let's get this young lady up here. I'm not going to prolong the time. I can't wait to talk to this millennial. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the platform.
Oh, it is Tanazia Moore.
Tell the people a little bit more about you, because we know you are a mother, you're a businesswoman, you're a cosmetologist, and you've been doing some mighty things. Let's hear more from you.
So yes, I'm a mother, but I'm a woman first. And I'm a mother to a beautiful 9-year-old. Her name is Sydney Elise. I am a cosmetologist. I'm also a licensed cosmetology instructor. I've been behind the chair for 11 years now. I am here in the Cleveland area, been here all my life. And I'm the oldest of 6 kids. The oldest of 6. My youngest sibling is actually growing up with my daughter. So it's just, it's amazing to be in the position that I am in, because I've learned a lot, still learning, being able to lead them and guide them and just navigate them through everything that God is doing in my life. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm excited again. Look, that's where my age kind of went in there. Look, my age showed up a little bit with the name. Forgive me. I am excited to have this conversation with you, because I believe that there is wisdom in old and young in us coming together, and we can still learn so much from each other. And when I think about, you said you've been a cosmetologist for several years. I know we've discussed it, and my mother actually retired for over 30 years from doing hair, and knowing what that looks and being like, of being in a beauty salon. And hey, I've had my day of taking out curl rods and taking pins and sweeping floors and being the shampoo girl, right? So much so that I say they're in escrow right now, but at one point, hey, something you didn't know about me, I actually have my managing manicures license from the state board. So I know all about all of what that looks like and what that life feels like. So it's not just enjoying sitting in the chair, but being and watching the many cosmetologists all over the world get to do what they do, and what that looks like on your body, what that looks like with your mindset, and the things that you have to do being in that space. So I have to ask you, since we're going to start right there from the top, what you do, what you love, right? What led you to wanting to, even when you think about wanting to do that as a career, what made you even want to do that?
Well, it's a funny story. And when I think about it, God is just hilarious, because I went to college here in Cleveland, John Carroll University, to be an accountant. I was a numbers girl, all about math. And when I got there, I found out that was not, it just wasn't my thing. And like at the time I worked at Bank of America. I just always had that drive. I wanted to work, but I also wanted to work in the area where I would be receiving this degree. And just even then, it just wasn't working. I'm making good money. I'm at this great school. I don't have no loans, for real. So
you better say that part right there.
It just was not working. I was not happy. I was not doing well. I'm visiting a tutor every time I leave my calculus class, and I'm not getting greater than a D. Okay. So it just was like, yeah, but I was doing makeup at the time as well. And I found out that I was really good at it. So lo and behold, I didn't want to get kicked out of school. I knew that at some point I might want to go back. So I withdrew, and I had to figure something out. I knew I had the gift of doing makeup. So I said, you know what? My aunt told me about the Brown Aveda. institute here. I went to Mentor. I thought I was going to be an esthetician. No, God said, no, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to do hair. So all of the hours and the times that I spent in the salon with my late stylist, it all played a role in who I am today behind the chair, as far as like that skill, that craft. And I just would remember staring at her when she would do hair, and I would just really be intrigued. And so when I got to the Brown Nevada Institute, I was in the spa, but I was on the floor doing hair, and it just came so natural. And I remember so many days I would cry because, again, I noticed I mentioned my late stylist. My hairstylist passed my senior year of high school, and she had been doing my hair since I was 5 years old. I had spent a lot of time with her, so I just couldn't believe that. OMG, I am in hair school. I'm about to be a cosmetologist, and so I fell in love with it. It came so natural. I did very well. I got an opportunity to go out to what's called NAHA. It's the North American Hairstyling Awards. I won this thing where I was a student. They paid for me to go to Vegas, and I got to really see where this industry could take me. And I was blown away. And I mean, ever since just being behind the chair, I have really fallen in love what it's done for me, because I always tell people it's not just about the money and the hair transaction. I am influencing, and I am impacting so many women, and vice versa, where God sends people in the room, angels at times, to drop something on me, and I never see them again.
I love it. I love it because when I think about that, and I even think about your little one, love her name.
Thank you.
That she see your baby's name, Sydney. It's funny because one of the children's books that I've done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the character's name. Her name is Singing Sydney. Whole
Oh,
nother story for another day. But that is her name. So I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. But then I have to, when you think about, you said you've been doing it for over a decade. And when I think about little Miss Sydney, her, then that means you were off on this road for several, for a few years before God blessed you with her, right? And so that
yeah.
means you were the moving and grooving, shaking, moving and shaking, like you said, an influencer, doing the doggone thing, right? And you didn't have to really answer to anyone, because of how God was working and moving in your life. Now,
Mm.
think about that. And you think about self-care. What were you doing anything, or you just was really because of you being, bless you, a millennial? You was like, no, ain't no grass growing under my feet. I'm doing this. I'm hot. We're moving. Were you doing anything as it relates to thinking about your well-being, your mental health during that time? Did you have any lows with as it relates to that before she was ever even thought of? How did that look for you though? Because you're doing it, you're killing it at this point. You got your license, right? You got your license. You said, I'm doing it. How did that look during that time for you as well though? I have to ask that.
So, it was a very interesting time, because I just remember at the time I was in ministry heavily, as a greeter at the Word Church here in Cleveland, Ohio. I was first touch ministry, so it's just me, this single young girl. I am like kickstarting my career, and then I meet someone, and then I ended up having a baby, and that situation wasn't the ideal situation. And so, even coming back from that, again, I was in ministry heavily, like dedicated to my walk, but I had that fall, and so that I didn't allow it to tear me up, and I did not condemn. I just was like, you know what, we gotta keep the ball rolling. One thing I've always saw, my mom was always a very strong woman, like when it came to taking care of kids. So I knew I had to handle business regardless. I was blessed with a village. So I went back to work 4 weeks after having her. Thank
Mm.
God. And one thing I can say, from the time I started and up until now, he has blessed me with clients, but because of my character, I've been able to meet people, and people have grown with me because of how I treat them. And so, like, even something that God has given me recently, which is I've been able to create a blueprint on how to show up into the marketplace.
I love it. Y'all,
Because
y'all listening at that? Y'all, do y'all hear that? You hear that? It's, and I love what you're saying about all while you're saying this, and of course acknowledging, because yeah, I look, I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you? Hey, Mary. Um, but because
Talk about it.
I'm just saying, and knowing what that looks and feel like, because I've been, hey, we celebrated, we've been together 23 years, just celebrated 22. Woo woo.
Happy anniversary.
Uh,
Congratulations.
but I know what it feels like to have been a single mother years, for many years. So to be able to do that, still do a career, still recognize, how just life was life, and you're young, things are happening, and still even being, look, working in the church. So look, hello saints, if you're listening and looking, and it just life when it show up. And I still tell this, and I lean in when I say this. We know that children are a gift. I say it, and I have to say it. It doesn't matter what the circumstance, situation, happenstance. I say, out of all the things, only God is the giver to me. This is my belief, is the giver of life. And no matter how it might have happened for you, you are a blessing. I said it before in my intro. You are a gift. And that means if you hear, you have a purpose. God has a plan for you and your life. And we are looking at the evidence of it right here today. Yes. Right. Well, Miss Morris, she is telling you, you're listening at a young lady who has an enormous, a big career, and she understands she's a single mother. And she keeps talking about behind the chair. I don't know if y'all caught that. And it's not just because she behind the chair. She also talked about a blueprint. She talks about, because she didn't talk about it a lot, but she also is an instructor. She's a licensed instructor. And with that, she's talking about this blueprint. And I need to know, just even with and she called it a ministry. That means we all have a purpose. So it's like, what is your purpose? What does that look and feel like? Right? So I need you to talk about more about this purpose and about this blueprint. And you will talk about the blueprint a little bit. Talk about that blueprint and what that even looked like. And I know in part of this blueprint, you have brought in some form of self-care and well-being.
Absolutely. So the blueprint is just basically what God has done over the past 11 years. Mm. Even prior to me healing, like I said, I've always had a certain type of character. I've always had this positive way that I carried myself, no matter how I felt on the inside. I always had a way with people. I love people. I've always loved. I will compliment a million women in a day, or I will hold a door, or whatever it is, people just gravitated towards me. So I've been able to grow with these clients, or vice versa. And so God has given me a blueprint as to, again, how to show up in the marketplace. Again, purpose. We are here for a reason. So just like my daughter came the way that she did, she's here because she got something on her. And it's my job to steward that relationship. So I have a purpose, and clearly my purpose is to speak life, is to educate, is to shepherd, it is to really it is to lead. So that way, people are aware as to what they are here for. So as I'm standing behind that chair, I am standing behind that chair to listen, to love, to lead, to pray with, intercede, whatever it is that he wants me to do. I have to be able to hear that, and I have to be able to execute on that. And I'm only able to do that because, again, I'm in purpose. This is where he has me. He has me here for a reason. Again, I never knew that I would be here. So like, even now where I'm at versus when I first started, yes, I've done so much work. I've had to go through therapy. I've had to learn the ins and outs of handling the finances. Like in my book, I talk about the worker versus the boss. Everybody wants to be a boss, but they don't know that you need to have your taxes set up a certain way. They don't know that a boss employs other people and provides opportunities for them to make money. I don't even call myself no boss, okay? I'm careful with that term, because that is a big responsibility, So I talk about that. Like, as far as, so I went years and didn't realize, oh my goodness, I got penalties and interest that unaccrued because I didn't realize I wasn't filing my taxes the correct way as an independent contractor. You know, it was just so much. So like, here I am, I'm the first one, a successful entrepreneur in my family, where I'm doing all of this work. I'm going back. I am attending wealth conferences, making sure that I'm setting up trust. So if something happened to me tomorrow, my daughter is well taken care
Are
of.
you guys listening at this? I need you. You see, the train is on the track, and if you can see, toot toot, she is on a roll over here, over here. Young business woman, you hear that? And that
Yeah,
is why I love that you even said you being behind the chair. It's a ministry, and it actually there is an exchange. I didn't hear that you were saying it's always something that you're giving, 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 but God places people that are actually clients that you then get to have this exchange. It's something that is reciprocal. It's the give and the take, and how that in itself to me, because we are talking about you, we talking about you first, and it's saying who are you around, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a client, right? Whether it's
absolutely.
if you're in serve, if you're service, if you're some form of service, who are we around? Who is in our space? And are we getting the positive exchange that we need to help us grow, to
Yeah,
help us, like you said, the things that you're doing to help you lift as you climb, those making ways for other people that come alongside of you, that come along with you, and that's coming behind you because of what you are doing, right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And so
I have,
like,
yeah. Go
but
ahead. Go ahead.
like even in this position, you know, like, and to speak to the whole self-care part, you know, like in being in this position, you know, and also having a young baby, I had to make sure that I made time to go to the spa quarterly, or get my nails done, or just sleep in while my daughter is at daycare, or having my girl time with my friends. Like, I do not play about girl time. Even if I just go over one of my close friends' house, we're literally sitting around, we cooking food, laughing,
So
listening to
go ahead. So
music.
right there, I want you to right now, if someone is looking and listening, go ahead and just talk to them for a moment.
I make the time to do that. I have to make sure that I take care of me, because if I lose me, if I don't take care of me, I'm not able to show up for these clients. I'm not able to love on my daughter. I'm not able to speak life into her, or I'm not, I mean, just overall, I am no good for the public sector. That is something like, I have to make sure that I'm good. It's just like on an airplane. They say you cannot help anyone else with an oxygen mask until you put your oxygen mask on first. So if I don't take care of me, if you don't take care of you, you can't show up for the people that God places on your path to do what you need to do for them. So those are just some things that I have been able to do for myself. My friends know bi-weekly I'm at the nail salon. I'm getting my nails done. My nail appointment is non-negotiable. I don't have to do a whole lot of other things. I don't really buy a whole or spend money in a whole lot of other places, but I'm going to make sure that I at least get to that nail appointment. And quarterly, I'm going to get a body massage. I'm standing on a mat. I I just found out that I could possibly have carpal tunnel. You know, with doing hair, you using your wrist. So I have to make sure that I go and get a body massage, and that I take care and go to the gym a few times a week. So that way I'm healthy. So those are just some of the self-care things that I've been able to do throughout the years. And I'm just leave my daughter, taking her with me sometimes. She has been able to go to a training session with me, and she getting it in too, because it's us. And if I don't show her, who else gonna show her?
No, I love it because we do have to lead by example. And I'm big on wanting my children because of course I was a teenage mother right after I got out of high school. And there is, even though there's tons of books now, but until you walk that walk, you really don't know what it looks like. And some things you don't know and don't really learn until you're actually in it, until you're
Yeah.
in it and you walk in that journey. So I applaud you for the businesswoman that you are, and the things that I know that you're doing for your baby girl, for that you're setting up. What you did say is that you're setting up things that if something, God forbid, that she will be okay, that
Mm-hmm.
she's all right. And that's what we have to remember, to not only I'm a believer of a living legacy. I need to leave a legacy while I'm alive, not just hey
Absolutely.
reap the benefits after I'm gone. But to be, hello, somebody. I believe we can have
Yes,
heaven.
amen.
I believe we can have heaven on this. on this side,
Mm-hmm.
on earth, heaven on earth. That is a real thing, and
Yeah.
it's in how we set it up and how we set it up now. For some, we know that, and I know I'm not telling anybody to ever not take care of your responsibilities, but you are your responsibility,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You need you. So you looking and you listening. I'm telling you, this is a check-in for you. Yeah, this is a you first check-in. You need you. And if you
Mhm.
don't pause, I say often by choice or by force, trust me, I'm a witness. By choice or by force, your body, your mind will say you're not paying attention to me and I demand your attention. I command your attention. And so I
Mhm.
say it needs to be by choice. And to have someone such as yourself to say, no, yeah, I don't punch a clock. My schedule, I set my appointments. And that is a beautiful position to be in with you being a young mother to be able to say, no, I set my appointments because I still make not only myself, but I make my child a priority. And I work on this balancing act to make it all be as harmonious as I possibly can. Right. Yeah, and having a conversation. I know now, before you went to your 3 day, what is it, sometimes 4 day weekend, how did that look like though? If you had to help somebody who you like, no, because at this point I'm really trying to make it because I'm a single mother. Not that I don't have a village, because you said I got a village, but for those times when you like, this right up and through here, this is a little rocky. So I need you to, like help people like it every now and then it can be a little rocky. And what does that look like? And how can you help them to come up out? What did that look like for you? Because I want them to know it's gonna be ugly. There is no white shining horse coming. He ain't coming. It ain't there. It's not real. Okay. So help the people.
Well, first of all, you have to be consistent. And you have to show up. When I first started out, first of all, I was on commission in the first salon I worked in. So I had to be there when the salon was open in order to be able to build a clientele. I was trying to get a hold of all the traffic that was coming in the door. If I'm on commission, and then I was fresh out of school, I didn't have no clients. So I'm showing up and I'm making sure that I'm there to get my hands on anybody that walked through that door. And
So
so
because of
once
that, though, how did that affect your health though? You like, I need all the low hanging fruit. I need all the walk-ins. Physically though, how was that for you being young? I know now, like I said, from years of standing and standing on concrete, not wearing the right shoes. Now, hey, it's not just age is a number. Your body know that. Your body know where you not is,
you know what? I really didn't feel it that much then. Now so even back then, I would make time to go to the gym because it was just me at the time when I first started out. I would go to the gym, and I mean I was hanging out too. So I would be up late sometimes. I'm working all day, but when I would have downtime sometimes because I also was graced with the opportunity to live around a corner from the salon I worked in.
Mm.
So I would go home sometimes and take a nap. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Now I'm a person where I don't play about naps. I will go to the car and take a nap. I I was the kid where I look forward to nap time. So as an adult, I still want to nap. So I made myself available. I was there. And so now, even 11 years later, 11 years ago, on Saturdays, I was at the salon at 6 a.m. I still do that to this day. I'm there on Saturday. Every Saturday, the Saturdays I work, I go in at 6 a.m. Now I have a clientele where they are scheduling these appointments. But even then, I made myself available. I was there when we would open the salon. And I was there, and people love those early slots. And when people see that you're there, when you're showing up, I think a lot of people drop the ball based on their performance, how they're showing up, their
Mm.
attitude, and them not taking care of themselves. You got
Yeah.
to take care of yourself because then you're not going to be any good when you're showing up. So me showing up and I was always this bubbly girl. I made sure I did my makeup. I was cute. They are coming, they staying, and usually they are going to grow with you. So even as a newer stylist, I have people that grew with me. And then some people would come and go because, at the time I had the lower prices because I'm a new stylist. So I'm
Yeah.
not charging what everyone else is charging. So, you got the people that are looking for the deals and all of that. So I'm growing and people are coming with me. Some people don't come with me, but as I'm showing up to work, I got this great attitude. I'm loving on them. I'm making sure that I am taking care of them. And even in times where I didn't have anybody sitting in my chair, I would walk around and help the other stylist clients. I would do hand and arm massages, or I would assist. Nowadays, people do not want to assist. They want instant gratification. They want to graduate from hair school, and they think or believe that they're just going to have this crazy clientele. And I think that people go wrong in that area, because you first, even me 11 years later, I'm still learning. I go sit in my coworkers' rooms and I sit up under them and I learn from them and
Yeah.
I apply. And people have to realize, so like even in downtimes, the stylist just said, utilize that time and apply that time in another area to make yourself even more valuable. So whether you're assisting someone else or whether you're working, because now we have social media, you're working on content, you're making yourself even more relevant, you're doing things in that time. You should never have that much idle time, even in slow periods. I mean, look at the quarantine. So many people were out of work. People were reinventing themselves.
Yes, they were. And you know
People
what?
were reinventing who they
It's
were.
not just that. It's often, and because of where you are, look, and I got a few more years ahead of you, it's going to happen again. It's going to not when we're not talking about the pandemic, not that, but I'm saying the reinventing.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you are and what is it that you want to do and accomplish in your life, there's going to be multiple times when we have to hit a reset, do a refresh, right? Or reboot the
Yeah.
brand as it is. Because even with the things that you're doing, being behind, because you're saying, look, 11, 12 years in, just imagine you get to year 15, you get to year 20, you're going to, the brand is going to blossom and evolve even more. So that's even more branding. That's still more evolution with the things that you do. You going into full-time, in being in full-time instructor and traveling and training and teaching and things like that. So that's another rebranding, because then it's rebranding you as a speaker. Those are things that you feel me, right?
Yeah.
These are the things that people, you don't think about it. Matter of fact, I'm going to help somebody. If there is something that you first have a desire for, if it does, or a goal, something, if it does not scare the heck out of you, and that ain't what I wanted to use, if it don't scare the heck out of you, then it's not big enough. It's supposed to scare you, because if you can do it with your eyes closed, then you need to say, oh, I could do that with my eyes closed. So then that means you got to think bigger. It needs to scare you. You need to say, woo, now trust me, in this walk, we got to do some things. And I've done it. I've walked the walk, knees shaking, teeth chattering. But you first, putting you first. And I hear it. I see what you've done. You've done the late nights. You've done the early mornings. You made the sacrifices, even with you
Still
having
doing it.
still doing it. These are the things that we have to be mindful for in the life that we say that we're called to do, right? That we know that we are purpose and design, but then these are the things that, so you do it now so that you can enjoy later. That's why they say, what, work hard, play hard. You hear that? She work hard, so y'all know she playing hard, right? Right. She said that, but we know that. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I appreciate you so much for pausing from your schedule. This is one of her days where she takes her self-care day, and she chose to have that self-care day to then pause for a conversation with me. And then I want to make sure if there's something else that you would love to share with our audience, right? That you're on this Self First virtual with me today. And then if there's anything else that you would like to leave with our viewers.
I definitely just want to encourage whoever's watching, when you see this, I want to encourage you and motivate you to, yes, show up for you. Because again, if you are not your best self, you cannot be good for no one else. God gave you life, and you have a purpose, and you're breathing, and you have to make sure that you are living that life out in excellence. Also, as I mentioned, I have a book. It's called Beyond the Chair. It is a blueprint. It's basically it is some of what we talked about. So excited. I would love for you to just be able to take advantage of that. really get it in your hands and just allow it to really just marinate in you and whatever it is that you're doing, or maybe you're dreaming about doing something and you're scared to do it. I don't know. But I truly believe that it is going to bless so many people. It doesn't matter the industry you're in. It is for anybody who has a purpose, especially if you're working in the public sector. My Instagram, Creations by Tanazia. Please follow me, tap in. I love sharing. I love to encourage. I love to empower. And yeah, Tanazia Morris, Creations by Tanazia, and Beyond the Cheer.
Thank you so much. We're going to have you back because we need our millennials and our millennial entrepreneurs. So I love it. I love it. I love it because it's just, I love the fact that you're doing it, and you're doing it in a good, godly way. You are being a light for other entrepreneurs, other millennials, other people that say, you know what, if she's doing it, then I can do it. Right. And I applaud for that. So thank you so much for carving out some time. Look, don't you go away. But I thank you for being here. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging with me for this episode of You First. It's all about you, and you. Make sure you tell a friend. Follow us online. Be sure to follow me online on all social media platforms. I want to know what you think, who you want to see on here. Maybe if you have a story that we need to hear, let me know. Maybe you could be on the show. Again, I'm Shawana Kennedy, your host of You First. Guys, I'm so grateful that you share this time with me, but I certainly will look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of You First. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media, your ultimate partner in content creation, video recording, and digital marketing. Be seen, be heard, and increase visibility in your business. Contact us today at KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and unlock your brand's full potential.